I was looking at a report by Jeffries, which suggests that firms themselves are bracing for a slower period. What has been the pattern at your firm? What does it indicate? If is it indicative of what you're thinking about in 2023? And just a follow up. I mean, since you guys, I mean, IT firms per se, are such high human resource company, what is new and what is upcoming to ensure retention of that very important aspect, which is talent?
Sure. So there are two parts to the equation. One is how do you bring in talent, or how do you cultivate talent for yourself for the longer run, and second is how do you retain them. So let me give you a brief answer on both, and then I'll have Nitin also comment on this. So from our perspective, look, we have been trying to work in a manner that we just don't have an environment where we are stealing from each other. It's a zero sum game, and I am sure Nitin has also talked about it in the past. So we have hired a number of freshers. So we in the last year hired 3,200 freshers. That is for a company our size, it's a fairly large number of freshers that we hired. For the last 9 months, we have been at it training them, and now we are seeing the deployment of those people happen. So you will see us depend lesser on laterals for the next few quarters and much more on making these people productive, because this is how we can create a persistent culture for the longer run, a talent pool that will stick with us for the longer run, and that's not just coming in and going out at a much rapid pace. That's point one. Point two, if we look at the retention part of it, now it's a very interesting play that has happened in the last 3 years. Because of COVID, significant amount of people worked from remote, anywhere, home, hometown, whatever. At the same time, a company like Persistent doubled its revenues, doubled its headcount. We moved from 10,600 to 22,500 employees in the last 3 years. A number of them have not seen our offices, or have seen our offices rarely. So the whole thing about this, combined with the attrition that we have had, so there is a significant amount of thinking that we have done. We have spent millions of dollars on one side in training the freshers. On the other side, millions of dollars we are spending on reinventing our culture, making sure that while people are in remote places, wherever in tier 2, tier 3 cities, we can either open an office, provide them a place to come and work, or otherwise engage them, so that we are creating, if I may say so, a tribe of our own for the longer run. There's significant investment happening in that as well. So from our perspective, we are working on both sides, creating talent grounds up longer run, retaining, creating our culture for the longer run. Nitin, over to you.
I think absolutely fair. I mean, the name of the game has been engage, engage, and engage. And I think engagement model has to change. You have to engage not just, in a physical format that we were all used to, town halls and, quarterly, employee engagement events and annual award events. I think those are probably the things of the past. Engagement has to be a blend of digital tools to be used, platforms to be used, but more importantly, understanding, what is it that the employee is going to look for from an employer beyond just the comp and the cash part. Because I think, as Sandeep said, large pools of employees have never really seen anybody from the office because they've been working remote for better part of the last 3 years. And it's extremely, difficult to engage their hearts and minds beyond just the day-to-day transactions. So I think we relaunched our employee value proposition about a year ago. We've talked about a hybrid first mindset, work from anywhere, collaborate in the office. We've created opportunities for them to learn new skills, engaging, kind of what they would feel engaged with when it comes to the work, giving them opportunities like we have a Geek Cloud platform that is kind of an internal Uberization of workforce platform, the internal Geek platform that gives them the ability to actually engage on programs beyond just their 8 hours day-to-day work. So I think this is uncharted territory from an engagement perspective. That's all that we need to focus on when it comes to creating that culture. And obviously, more importantly, I think the straight correlation between how many people we have on our hiring plans versus the growth rates is probably a little bit, fraught with risk at this point in time, Neeraj, because we have seen softening of the market. I think it's better for us to be a little bit more nimble around some of the hiring decisions. We, at least at Mphasis, we're still running at utilization levels that are fairly comfortable for us to feed the growth for the short term. So I think we are going to be very nimble about making those decisions around hiring versus retraining, reskilling, upskilling. And we'll continue to use those levers as we see the environment around us, based on our pipelines, our deal flows, and of course, based on where we think we need those skills.